of this done, I think they're going to be a much more capable team.
The Oilers get their power play quarterback. Barry gets his fresh start.
The Oilers GM bolstered the middle of the ice, inking Kyle Turris.
The Oilers have signed Hesa Puljujarvi to a 2-year contract.
He's refreshed. Call it a reset.
I'm just excited to show that, you know what, I'm a hell of a player.
I'm just really excited for this new opportunity.
It's gonna be like new start, and I'm ready.
For more on the Oilers, here's Ryan Rishaug in Edmonton. Ryan, Ken Holland doesn't have a lot of cap space to play with, so he was relatively quiet so far this offseason. But of the moves he did make, which do you like the best?
Well, Gino, it would have to be the addition of defenseman Tyson Barrie for a couple of reasons here. First and foremost, he's a good defenseman, and it's a player that I think this organization has been eyeing for some time now. He's got a skill set they need. He moves the puck well, skates well, can work the offensive blue line on the power play, and brings them the type of mobility I think that they were looking for. Then you couple that with the fact that it's a fairly team-friendly contract, and the fact they'd lost Oscar Klefbom for likely all of next season. This was a hole they absolutely had to fill. The fact they were able to do that with a player of Tyson Barrie's quality, he'll be looking to bounce back after a tough year in Toronto, but that, I think, will be the most important move the Oilers made in the offseason.
Ryan, the Oilers only have one playoff round win in the McDavid and Draisaitl era so far. So what are your expectations for this upcoming season?
Well, the thing to remember about the Oilers last year is that while their playoffs were a disaster, the regular season was actually a fairly significant success. At the time of the shutdown, they were one of the better teams in the division, fighting for a division. They had the top power play in the league, one of the best penalty kills, and while they needed to defend better 5-on-5, this team was in a good position. I think that if they can get themselves into a similar position as they were in at that point in time, they would be absolutely thrilled. My instinct is we will see some regression, that losing Klefbom will be too significant for them, and that the layoff potentially will have an effect on them. But I think if the Oilers can maintain the ground they had when things shut down, the organization would be absolutely tickled, Gino.
All right, Ryan Rishaug in Edmonton. All right, MJ, you heard what Ryan had to say. What do you think? How far can McDavid and Draisaitl lead this team in this season?
You just said the two words that matter the most, McDavid and Draisaitl. They have two of the best offensive players in the league, and you have players that good, I'm saying they can get to the second round, Gino, even if there is some regression and some injuries, because you have these guys who can play on different lines. Now, Draisaitl has long since answered the question about whether he can do it on his own or without McDavid. We saw how great their power play and penalty kill were last year. Even though those dropped a little bit, they'll still keep them in an awful lot of games. And when you can roll 1-2 McDavid, Draisaitl and play 45 to 50 minutes a night with one of those guys on the ice, you give yourself the chance to win a lot of games. Now, the question is, Klefbom's injury and goaltending. Koskinen, I don't mind. Mike Smith as a backup. Will that be good enough to really go deep in the playoffs? I'm not so sure. I think second round would probably be a realistic goal.